Hi, so this is going to be a really quick whistle stop webinar today because it draws on a lot of the concepts and things that we've been talking about in the previous three webinars. But I just wanted to bring them all together and just act as almost just a point to say, look, stop and think about content. And so that's the point of today's webinar. So we're talking about content. The main areas I suggest you look at are these sort of 6 key points. So we start off by saying, who is your audience? Determine your audience. We spoke last week about saying your audience isn't just candidates and clients. Even that can even be segmented down further. So clients, you've got HR clients, you might have different vertical line manager type clients. The same on the candidate side. And those people are going to want very different content because they're very different types of people. And so really understanding who they are, what they're about, their interests as a general person, that all helps. Persona profiling is all the rage in recruitment circles, or certainly was. And that's essentially what it is. Now, that it's slightly more complicated. If you've got a marketing department, then they probably should have gone that down persona profiling route already. But if you are doing it yourself, then essentially what you're doing is just thinking who a typical HR person that you're dealing with, what are they going to like? Then it's how, selecting the right channels. So by that, we're saying, what are you going to put out? Is it going to be put out on email? Is it going to be put out on social media? Are you going to do a podcast? Are you going to do a video? What is the channel you're going to use to get your content out? And then importantly, I suppose it's asking why. What are you hoping to achieve? Is it brand awareness? Are you trying to drive traffic to your website? If you're trying to drive traffic to your website, why are you trying to drive traffic to your website? What do you want people to do when they get there? So it's thinking about all those things in terms of why you are doing this piece of content, because otherwise what you're doing is just random acts of content, which is of no use to anybody. And it's why we're really getting all these kind of Donna Summer, I Will Survive type pieces of content coming out, because nobody really knows what else to put out. I think one of the things that's really changed these past 3 weeks is when people are consuming content. So typically people would consume a podcast on the way to work, on the way back from work. So they're not really consuming podcasts in that same way. Same with social media. We're finding that and on emails, for example, we're finding that people are responding better to emails at kind of 9:30 now, whereas previously it was 8:15. So really think about kind of the times you connect with people and to deliver your content. And then it's, where are you going to target that content? So it's no good saying we're going to put it out on social media, but what social channels are you going to put it out on? What are best for your audience? And it comes back to knowing your audience so that you can decide where you need to put that content out. And then I suppose the what is the most important then is around, what is that message? What is the message you are putting out? What are you trying to say? What values and the value proposition are you trying to put forward? And that's really relevant in terms of what that content then looks like. And then you can move on and kind of deliver that content. This is probably the world's most boring slide, so I apologise. But here are some of the things people ask me: what kind of content can we put out? A promotion. Are you doing anything special with fees at the moment? If you are, shout about it. Ask a question to your audience. Get some feedback going. The inspirational quotes. Often people say to me, "I hate those inspirational quotes," but we see really good engagement levels on those. Share a tip or a trick. A day in the life posts are always good. Testimonials can come into their own. There's loads of stuff here, from taking the poll. So what I would suggest is you just screen grab this slide now, and then you can look at that at your leisure. As I say, this was just a really quick webinar that asked me to think about some of those things that we've been talking about previously, and and look out for the next more substantive webinar, which is around strategy, both for now while we're in this situation, but also then moving forward when we want to bounce out of it. But in the meantime, I hope you have a nice Easter break, and I shall look forward to speaking to you later.